Well, hey everyone, welcome back to vid number 2 of the build of this little tractor right here of the MPC Lotus Indy turbine car. I left off vid number 1 saying that I would give a little information on this little tractor. To start off with, on this little Indy car, it is a 1968 Andy Granatelli owned STP turbine car driven by Graham Hill, obviously in 1968 at the 68 Indianapolis 500 racetrack. It was one of 3 turbine cars that came out in 68, and they were nicknamed Silent Sam because that turbine engine was completely silent. It gave just a swoosh sound going through. But that's enough of the Indy car. Let's get to the little tractor. These little tractors, this here company started in 1946 by Elmer Pond, and he started a business in a little 2-car garage, and the company was called Pond. But with a naming conflict, he had to change the name to Wheel Horse. That is a Wheel Horse tractor. Now I'll give you a little information on the Wheel Horse company before we get to exactly what the tractor is. Few highlights of the company. In 58, Pond brought out the 3-speed transmission called the Unidrive, and he designed that transmission in 60 days. In 1961, a new plant was done. It was made in South Bend, Indiana, in which they all moved into. In 1965, they introduced the hydrostatic transmissions. In 1968, they purchased the snowmobile line in Des Moines, Iowa, then sold the snowmobile line in 1972. Here's something really interesting. AMC, American Motors, yeah, the car line, they bought Wheel Horse in 1974 for $30 million. And in 1982, AMC would sell them that line to Munn Investment. Then Toro bought it from Munn in 1986 for $8 million. Shortly after, the South Bend plant would then close. And in 2007, the Wheel Horse name was finally phased out with Toro. I also found out there is a Wheel Horse club in Pennsylvania, which is pretty cool. Now on to the little tractor. This little tractor is a 1968, and it is one of several models. It's really hard to tell which model that is. It does say Wheel Horse, but I'm not sure what that says there. It is one of 4 models. It's either a Commando, a Raider, a Charger, or an Electro. And the difference between those are the Commando is a 3-speed, the Raider is a 6-speed, the Charger is an automatic, and the Electro is a auto with electric clutch. Now, something else. In 1968, Wheel Horse came out with a special edition tractor called the 500 Special. And that 500 Special was a special edition tractor to commemorate the Indianapolis 500. Wheel Horse had provided tractors to the Indianapolis 500 race as pit tractors for years. So the 500 Special was built to celebrate this, but they weren't actually used at the race. The 500 Specials at least. And something else about this here Wheel Horse tractor. It is a 1-cylinder, air-cooled, 6-horsepower Tecumseh engine. With the 2 engine halves glued and the 4 tires, wheels glued together, and the transmission glued together. Something we've noticed after we got everything out of the Purple Pond is when we put the front suspension on, the frame hangs out real far, which that's the way the kit's supposed to be for this, because they've designed it as a push tractor. With all the research I did, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the frame back to here, because all the regular tractors that I've seen that people use at their house and stuff don't have that, and I'm going to kind of use this as a house tractor for right now. So that's the first modification I'm going to make, is shortening that frame right there. Now with the frame shortened, which is that there, it comes even with the front suspension. And what I'll end up doing now is, oh, plus this piece is glued on to there, letting that dry. And the control panel, or the little dashboard or gauges, is glued into there too. So those three pieces are glued on right now also. And I'm waiting for these things to set up. And then what I'll do is I will build the whole entire tractor minus the black parts, because I'll build the whole entire thing, then paint it red, because everything's red on here except for the steering wheel and seat, and even this handle, this control handle or lever is red except for where you put your hand. It's got a piece of rubber on it that's black. So those are black. Everything else is red, obviously except for the battery, but the engine and everything's red. So we'll get this thing all glued together, then painted red. And the paint I'm going to choose is Tamiya XF7 flat red, and I'm going to use this white for the wheels. We've also got the transmission sanded, and the mold line or together joints, seam line taken out of that where it would come together. The second video surprise. Bet you guys weren't expecting a surprise in the second video. Well, I've got 3 of these kits that were sealed, and I was kicking around on how I'm going to build this guy. Like that, or without it, which I decided to do and just make it a regular tractor. And then I got to thinking, well, that extension's kind of cool. When I was doing my research, I saw a lot of them with snow plows, and then I also saw a lot of them with mower decks. So I thought, I have 3 of these. While I'm doing one tractor, I might as well get the other 2 opened up and caught up. So what I've decided to do is the one I've been working on, I got this one all caught up. I cut his frame off too, and I've left this one the way it comes. I got the engines this far, just a few parts glued together, sanded, chrome stripped. And these 3 parts are put on, which was really nothing, which is the hood and the dash. So I think what I'm going to try to do is go with my original concept, just a normal tractor. And this one here, I might try to, well, I'm going to try to scratch build a little plow and a mechanism that would raise and lower the snow plow. And then I got to thinking, well, a mower deck would sure be cool, so I cut the extension off, so he's just like my original concept. Scratch build a little mower deck for him and run with a little mechanism to raise and lower the mower deck. I thought that'd be cool. How far along I'll get on all 3, I don't know, but I will finish the one original concept for sure for the 48 hours. And we'll see how far along we can get on the other 2, just to throw a little twist into the build. Okay, we're starting the scratch building on the blade and the mower deck. And what I like to start off with is cardstock. And lay the tractors out, and you can play with all the cardstock you want. It's super easy, cheap. And then once I get exactly what I want on my cardstock, I write what it is, and then I trace it out. This time I traced it out on 20 thousandths. Okay, after painting everything and letting it dry for a few hours, I kept everything mounted up and took everything outside and shot some clear on it, just rattle can clear. So everything got cleared. Show you what I'm doing with the wheels here to make them more realistic. That's how they come in the kit. And as I said in the other video, I added a hole for the valve stem. So the front tires all have valve stems now. And what I'm also doing is adding lug nuts, of course with the valve stem. So there's your difference. And the way I'm doing that is I'm using my TT train bolts. I got tons of TT train bolts. It's 8081 hex nut bolt, and it's going to work as a lug nut, especially by the time I get it weathered. So I just drill out the hole for the valve stem, drill out the 5 holes for the lug nuts, and plop them in. Got the tires painted. We used Tamiya rubber black. Just hand painted it on. Their thing looks like a toilet seat. There's a little inside glimpse on the mower deck and blade I'm working on. We'll see you in video 3 with the building.